Creative Magic Club.
What's up? This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a six-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, Sarah Mack here from withsarahmack.com, and welcome to this episode where I am going to break down how I created this process in my business where I'm getting paid hundreds of dollars to essentially do sales calls with new clients. So yes, this is like a really catchy hook and way of describing the process that I'm going to share with you today. It's not the full story, but I think it's just like a really awesome way I've been doing business that works really well for me, that works really well for clients, that has an important function in my sales process that allows me to not do free sales calls but also creates an opportunity for people who are thinking about working with me to know what they're buying before they jump into my higher ticket, longer term offers. And it's really fucking cool and I love it. So I want to share with you how I have basically developed this way of selling private intensives. And I will kick this off by saying, the part of my astrology chart which kind of relates to and inspired some of the shifts that I've been making in my business lately, has been understanding my Jupiter placement, which is in my 5th house and it's in Aquarius. So the part that relates to this conversation is the Aquarius part, which is all about innovation. And regardless as to where you have Aquarius in your chart, I think this is something that's really important to lean into in business. And here's why. Even before I knew about this placement, and this is always the way for me personally, with my relationship with my chart, is it just gives me confirmation and it's a reflection of why I am the way that I am and why things work for me in the way that they work for me and why things are challenging for me in the way that things are challenging for me. And, seeing it reflected back to me in my chart just gives me this added layer of clarity and confidence that makes me make bolder moves. And as we know, when you make bolder moves, when you have more confidence, when you have more clarity, it's always going to lead to more powerful results. So I think sometimes we get a little bit caught up in the irrelevant details in business. Like, is the price the right price? Is the length of the program the right length of the program? Is my ideal client, the perfect ideal client, which admittedly, I do think the ideal client conversation is like the most important conversation. But sometimes all of these other details or the stories that we're getting in our head around why we're not hitting our enrollment and income goals is just because it needs that extra layer of clarity and confidence to really sell what you're selling, to really have your back. And one of the fastest ways to have your own back and to have confidence and to have the highest level of conviction is to really make choices from an internal motivation. So a lot of the time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, and I built my entire business doing what my coach told me to do, and guess what? It worked. But as I've been in business for a few years now, for like 8 years, I'm kind of at this place now where I've taken so many business courses. I've worked with so many coaches. I've invested so much in education around digital marketing and copywriting and content strategy and mindset and energetics. And, I've heard the same thing over and over and over in different flavors and different nuances from different people. And it's really got to that place where I feel confident to just do things in the way that I want to do it, and to know that, my skill sets are where they need to be for me to make money from my experiments and from my creative adventures, because I've proven that to myself over and over and over again with different offers. And, through all the years, I've proven that I've made lots of sales. And, no matter how many sales you've made, it's really important to remind yourself of that. Like, if you've made a sale in your business, you know how to make sales. If you've attracted clients before, you know how to attract clients. And there's always going to be another layer of growth and evolution and a different way of doing things. And, we're going to try new things. We're going to grow and evolve. The industry is going to shift and change. And there's always going to be things that fail. And we're always looking at other people in our industry, and everyone always thinks you're succeeding from the outside, right? Everyone always thinks every offer you're selling is selling, when behind the scenes, some things aren't selling, right? Not every single offer that I've created has sold. And I'm constantly experimenting and trying new things and shifting the way that I talk about things and seeing what lands with people. And, especially with free content events, for example, to attract new ideal clients and to have that constant flow of new clients into my business month after month. In the beginning few years, I literally put out a new free piece of content or workshop or free series or downloadable every single month. And it was different every single month. And doing that gave me the feedback and the information that I needed to know what works and to know what doesn't for me, for my message, and for my audience. And, obviously studying the fundamentals and knowing how to package something, how to communicate something, no matter what it is, in a way that, has the specificity to call in the right people and to move people to take action and sign up. Like, that's a skill that we are constantly honing, right? So I want to give you a sneak peek into how I have developed my private intensive to the place where it's just a really easy sell, and it has led to many, many, many clients enrolling up into my higher ticket group programs and one-on-one. So I started, and this is definitely not like a earth-shattering new innovation in the industry, right? Loads of people are doing this, but the way that innovation feels is when you come up with an idea that's not a strategy that somebody's told you or that the coach that you're working with is currently doing. And sometimes, and like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with following the strategy that your coach has told you, because I believe, you have to kind of learn the rules before you can break the rules. But no matter what strategy or sales process or step-by-step that you're given as a guide, it's always so, so, so important to check in with yourself and to tweak it and modify it and adapt it to the place that feels really good for you. And really thinking about yourself as a high performer. You're the star of the show, right? Like, this has to work for you. Your results are going to be better if you're able to show up at your best. So if there's something that you hate about this strategy or this process, give yourself permission to change it and do it intentionally. Don't half-ass something that somebody's given you as an outline. Really digest everything that you're given, all the ideas, all the guidance, and run it through your own filter of, does this feel good to me? And know the difference between this doesn't feel good because it's a growth edge and I'm actually building a new skill, and it's a discomfort that actually I am choosing because I really desire to be good at doing it this way, versus something that just doesn't feel right for you and you don't want to actually get successful at doing it in that way. So this is one thing that my clients have always given me feedback on, is there's no like one size fits all cookie cutter. Like when you're dealing with creative geniuses, which all of my clients are, including all of you who are listening, like we don't like to be told what to do. And it's not going to work if we're not fully behind it. If we're like, a part of us is like, ugh, then it's not going to work, right? The more magnetism we can bring, the more we're going to shine, the more we're going to stand out, the more people are going to see the real us. And that's really what we want to go for in all of our business strategy. So we want to get rid of any of the things that don't feel good. And we get to simplify, or we get to adapt, so that we're really leaning on our own strengths and doing things in the way that allow us to shine as much as possible. Or, you know, getting the appropriate support from team and outsourcing things, or finding simple ways to do things that allow us to show up at our best and really bring that conviction and confidence and the energy that really is the thing that creates sales. So I feel like I just went on a massive tangent, but like I was saying, this felt like innovation for me because I just kind of came up with the idea. Like I said, I've tried so many different things at this point that I have, and this is the fun part of business, is you get to try all different kinds of ways. And then you have experience about what felt good, what worked really well for you, what didn't work really well for you, what your audience is really resonating with. And, you know, over and above absolutely everything you can possibly listen to is your intuition. And for those of you who have been following my story, you'll know that I had 15 months of long COVID symptoms, which was really rough. I had a lot of fatigue. You know, my capacity was pretty limited, which is something I've experienced before in my business when I was in the middle of burnout, when I actually started my business back in 2015. So I'm familiar with dealing, you know, with real health restrictions. And that was part of what guided me to really simplify in my business. But I think, you know, intuitively, I was also feeling really called to focus on more one-on-one. And then I discovered that the industry was kind of also paralleling that shift, where people were buying group programs less and buying digital products less and investing more in spaces where they know they're going to get more direct feedback from coaches and mentors. And, you know, that was just an intuitive shift for me. A lot of my decisions that I make turn out to be really brilliant and timely. And it's not because I'm one of those people that does a ton of research. And, you know, yeah, I definitely have a big network and I have mentors that I listen to, but a lot of the time it's after the fact I realize that, oh yeah, this was a really timely decision for me to make, but it's not because, like I said, you know, I'm a genius that's like planning everything in advance, or is like super tapped in to, you know, industry sources. But I'm listening to my intuition, and I literally, you know, pivoted the whole focus of my business to being on launching group programs. I just had a 5-figure launch of my latest group program, which was all about launching group programs. And I was really taking a stand for that as something that I believed in as a business model for my clients who, like me, want to have a lot of free time and want to have a very scalable income. And then I just decided to let go of all of my group programs, my mastermind, the group program I had just launched. And it kind of felt like I was starting back at square one again and just working with clients one-on-one. And I hadn't really been selling my one-on-one. Most of my clients had been in my group programs before then. So the way that I have been using private intensives as a stepping stone for clients to enroll up into my high ticket, I used this in my last group program launch as well, was I would do some type of free event, like a free brainstorming, a free masterclass, a free series, and then I would pitch my one-on-one intensive from there. People would enroll into that. And then from there, I just make it super, super clear, like what the journey is going to look like for them if we continue together with my support. And for those who want that and it's a fit, it's such an easy yes. And I love this because I don't have to do sales calls, which I just don't love having a ton of sales calls on my calendar. I don't think they're the worst thing in the world. And I think they're important if you're in the early stages of business and you don't really know your client in depth because you're not maybe already working with your ideal client. And, you know, it's important to understand how to have the conversation to really sell somebody on a sales call, because that still translates to when you're selling people in DMs or when you're having sales conversations with people when they're already a client of yours on a call or in Voxer. So it's important to understand the fundamentals of a sales conversation, which really isn't that complicated. But yeah, like I don't love having sales calls on my calendar because I really like to have that time to do other things that I love to do, namely like content creation, work on my podcast, write my book, work on songs, rest, you know, take care of my health, take time out. So I'm always looking to massively, massively simplify and really cut back on the amount of hours that are needed for every single level and phase and stage of my business that keeps it running and keeps it consistent and sustainable. So my private intensives, initially I started selling them as a 90-minute call. I think I started selling them at like 333 when this was a new idea for me. Then eventually I bumped it up to 550. And then I would sell a week of Voxer follow-up on the back of that for 495. And then I decided to just include 1 week of Voxer with the 90-minute, and that's like the whole package for an intensive, because I just love, you know, being able to continue the call and continue to support and get work done that we started on the call together. And then it just became really, really clear to me. So I've used them for various different things. I've used them for astrology readings. I've used them for money mindset makeovers. But the thing that has become kind of like the staple and the main reason that people book a private intensive with me now, it became really the first step in the work that I help my clients to do, which is to get really, really, really clear on their offer positioning and the brand story that's going to sell that offer. Because my goal for my clients is to help them make money, to help them get good at signing clients, to do that authentically, to do that easily, to do that with confidence and clarity so that they can do that consistently month after month after month. And it all starts with the offer, right? When you really understand how to put together and sell an offer through storytelling, this is the main part of the work. So my private intensive has just become an insanely valuable thing for clients to invest in. So naturally, you know, as that idea had developed and as that work developed, as I was trying it out and working with clients, I've naturally increased the cost of the private intensive. It went up to, from 550 to 600, then to 750, and now it's at 850, and I'm going to put the price up again. So if you've been thinking about booking, now would be a great time to do that. And, you know, I've literally had clients do this and then go on and make 6 figures in a launch after the offer and launch plan that we put together. You know, obviously a lot of these clients will continue with the support in Voxer. So I'm there to support them through the launch that we set up the plan for during the initial week in my private intensive. And yeah, I love it. It's a place where, it feels so good for me to sell because I know how insanely valuable it is. Not only are people walking away with an offer that's in alignment, that's clear, with a messaging strategy that is going to attract the right clients, because it's my zone of genius is really asking the questions to pull out people's gifts that are most relevant and most valuable to the highest level of client that they are, you know, capable of calling in because of their experience and who they are and what they've embodied. And so often with my work, even before clients officially go and launch this, clients start to show up, you know, and that's what happens when you really click and you feel in alignment and you feel clear on who you are, what you're offering, and how you help. And I've seen this happen over and over again. And this happens to me all the time too. When I come up with a new offer, as soon as I'm clear on it and I feel really good about it, suddenly I just met someone who's like, oh, they're literally the ideal client to a T for this offer. And it's so easy to talk about it and to enroll people when you have that clarity. So this is how you want to feel when something's going to be easy to sell. When you're like, this is such an amazing opportunity. This is such an amazing deal and price. And the work that we're going to do together is so life-changing and valuable that I know when someone has invested in this, it's going to change their life and their business and their ability to make money forever and ever and ever, because your story is your story. So when you learn how to get clarity on that, like that is a skill that you're going to walk out into the world with, you're going to lead all of your content with, and no one can take that away from you when you really connect to that with clarity. So obviously it's been easy for me to sell this and it's been really easy to enroll people up into my higher level programs if they like working with me and they feel like it's a good match and they're getting tons of value and they can see very, very clearly the value that they are getting when they have me on their team and they have me supporting them. So this is what I'm all about, is finding the ways to strategically sell and communicate to people and support people in a way that makes it, number one, really fun for you. Number two, really valuable for them. And number three, really, 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 really clear on the value that they are getting and that you are delivering. So this is something that I then took into the recent free training series that I did, which was a 5-part free training series that I hosted on my podcast. It was called Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. Go check out those episodes if you haven't already. It was really good. And then I did a little Voxer mini mind alongside of it. And obviously I've seen people do series released on their podcast before. I've seen people do like free Voxer mini minds before, but I'd never seen anyone combine those two things. And so the way that that idea organically came to me just made it. Here's the thing, when you come up with your own ideas or you tweak and shift things by really listening to the way that you want to do things and the way that you are intentionally choosing things to add value to your people, and there's a really clear reason for you why you've chosen to do things in the way that you're doing things, what that creates is just a deeper connection to what you're doing. Deeper than I'm just doing this because I saw someone else succeeding at this and I want to try it, which again, nothing wrong with that. But what I'm offering you here is just a way of reflecting on the choices, the strategic choices that you're making in your business to just make them more personal. Because I know for people like us, the more like genuine connection we feel to our work, the more other people feel that. And sales is all about connection. It's all about trust. And, you know, just like we all do, your clients want to feel like you care about them. And this is like what I've seen is the number one reason why people will buy is if you just show people that you give a fuck about them and their results, and you're willing to put in the time and the effort to really help them and to connect to them and to see them, which, you know, sales calls are actually great for that. But if you don't like doing sales calls, you have to find other ways to do that. And you can definitely do that in DM conversations through voice notes, right? So, and just remembering, and I know that everybody here, everybody that I work with, we do genuinely care. Like that's such a given for people like us. Like the reason we do the work that we do is because we care. It's because we want to make an impact. It's because we really want to help people. And it's so easy to kind of get lost in the strategy because business is complex, like it is simple, but it's also complex. In fact, business isn't complex, humans are complex. So it's our human complexities in managing our life, managing our emotions, managing our energy levels, managing our personal boundaries, managing, all of the growth that comes with growing our income, becoming more visible, impacting people, being creative, being edgy, developing new ways of being and working and serving in the world, which everybody in here is doing, right? Like, I'm sure none of our parents were doing what you're doing right now with your clients. So there's so much personal growth that comes with that. And that's the complex part. Dealing with the insecurities that come up when we're taking these risks and these leaps. So very often that can get a bit lost because you're like, oh, I just need a way that's going to work. I just need a repeatable strategy. I just need to be consistent because my livelihood is dependent on this. Because if I don't get paid this month, then I'm fucked. And that's always coming into play in the way that we do sales. So, the art of successful sales and being able to evolve and grow the way you work, the way you support clients, to consistently be stepping in more and more and more into alignment with whatever that next version of you is that you're bringing to your work and your client community, which is always going to be evolving every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, just as the industry is evolving, just as our world is always evolving, is number one, to really understand the fundamentals of how to communicate who you are and what it is that you're offering and how it is that creates value for people. Really understanding these has been the reason why I've been able to consistently make money, and I've definitely had ups and downs, and I've definitely had like bigger months and lower months, and I've had income dips, and I've had really successful years and I've had less successful years. But the reason I've been able to sustain it and it's been fun for me and it hasn't ever got to the point where I've wanted to throw in the towel is because I can trust, these fundamental skills that have carried me through. And I'm not getting lost in the strategy, really coming at things from a human level of, I give a fuck about people. I really, really believe in my work. I really, really have conviction about the value of my work. I'm really, really excited about what I'm offering. And I'm willing, I'm willing to do what it takes. Yes, I'm going to do things in the way that I want to do things. And I'm going to say no to the things that don't feel good to me. And I'm willing to be a human in that. I'm willing to make an effort and to create ways for people to have access to me. And I'm going to share and keep sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing so that people have what they need to be able to make a decision about whether or not they would like to work with me. And, never ever falling into the trap of just seeing people as numbers. I honestly think that's one of the main reasons why I've had longevity and why I've enjoyed my business so much, is because I've had a relatively small audience this entire time. I've never really blown up around anything. My email list is still a few hundred people. It was only 200 people when I started having 5-figure months, multi-5-figure months and 6-figure years. And my online audience isn't huge. I think the most people I've had in a program has been 10. My last free series had, I've had more than 50, 60 downloads. I had 27 people in my free mini mind. I celebrate that. I celebrate when there's 1 or 2 people that have reached out and who have signed up, because I'm so excited about working with the people who are a yes to me. My first group program, I had 1 sale, and then I hustled and did trades with 3 other people so that it could be a group program and I could run it. And I was so thrilled about that. So I think just reminding yourself to come back to the people and the humanness is the way to not get up in your head around sales. And if you haven't downloaded my free training, 7 tips to get over imposter syndrome. Like if you ever get up in your head around not feeling good enough, or just, feeling like should anyone listen to me? Or maybe when you're not getting the engagement or the signups around an offer or a freebie or an event or a workshop or whatever, and that starts to trigger all of your insecurities, which, that is a gift for those to come up so that you can look at them and release them and move through them, so that stops happening when it's inevitable that an offer will not immediately succeed at some point in the future of your business, because this is normal. To just come back to, sometimes I tell this to my clients if they're like, oh, I've only had 5 people sign up. I'm like, imagine you had 5 people in your office right now. Your office would feel full, or your living room or wherever it is that you're working. Like that's 5 people, talk to them, have conversations with them, care about them, do your work with those 5 people, and then more people will come. So lessons to take away, like innovate, run everything through your filter. And innovating doesn't mean like you have to be the next Elon Musk in the coaching industry. Like nothing I've done has like never been done before. But innovation to me feels doing it in a way that's driven by my desires for my business and for my people, and making choices and being willing to mix and match, being willing to try new things, and being willing to run everything through the filter of, is this right for me? Does this feel good for me? And sometimes it's literally the tiniest tweak. Like I'm going to do a 3-day event instead of a 5-day event, or I'm going to do a 20-minute training instead of a 60-minute training, or, I'm going to add this one little sentence to my sign up page, or this one extra word into my tagline on, my program title. And those things add up. They make a difference. This is all about listening to yourself. Like I didn't, even with the timing of things, like I did not plan to run my free series at the time that it actually ran. I was supposed to run it the week before, but it just didn't, things weren't coming together. And I think I started it on the day that Mercury went retrograde, which, is kind of a bad idea. It was also in the middle of 2 eclipses, but I was just listening to what felt right for me. So really pay attention to where you're giving your power away to other people's ways of doing things, or what someone else has said around what you should or shouldn't be doing around this or that. I see this with my menstrual cycle all the time too. Like sometimes during my period, I actually feel kind of social and talkative and energized. And sometimes I don't. I feel super tired and I just want to be reclusive. So I'm not going to make up any hard and fast rules about what I have to or have to not be doing around this type of activity or that type of activity, or time of year or time of month or time of day or whatever. But really practicing listening to myself, listening to my intuition. And, I work with a lot of manifesting generators and generators. I'm a manifesting generator. So you have to be excited about what it is that you're doing. And sometimes it's just a matter of reconnecting to what you're already doing, because you got disconnected, because you got lost in the strategy, or you were giving yourself a hard time for not doing things perfectly, and it was some mindset stuff, or those insecurities were coming up, or you had a personal, crisis that was leaking into your business and you needed to tighten up your boundaries or just get better at that, and this is the thing, that you just get better at this over time. The more you do things, the more you experiment, the more you fail, the more you end up succeeding, because you get that data and that feedback. And, just coming back to, like, you're meant to be doing this. You're here for a reason. And even when it looks like it's not working, you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to be supported. It's all going to work out for you. Keep going. And remembering to choose every day to do this, and to be grateful for the opportunity to do the work that you've chosen to do, and to remind yourself to enjoy it. Like, this is really the most important thing we can do, because that raises our performance level as creatives. we cannot be at our highest level of creativity if we're freaking out, if our brain is shrinking because we're in fear, if we're giving ourselves a hard time, judging ourselves, beating us up, holding shame for something that didn't go perfectly. And like, fun is the answer to that. Confidence comes when we're having a good time. So we can hack to feel more confident by doing things that are fun for us. Like, this is a part of my business strategy. I play guitar and I sing every day. I go outside in the sun. Even if it's raining, I'll go outside for a walk in the rain and just be in nature because it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel grounded. I enjoy it. It gets my blood moving. It gets me out of my head. I do some type of movement every day. I meditate every day. You know, these things are a non-negotiable because I know my decision-making and my level of performance is not the same if I don't do these things. And I feel like we're going on a tangent here into an abundance conversation, which is maybe more for another episode, but the universe can't give to you if you aren't giving to yourself. So give yourself the gift of doing things in a way that's fun for you, that feels meaningful for you, that you genuinely care about and give a fuck about, and just keep it focused on the humanness, on the human connection while you're doing the things that you're doing. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know if this landed. Let me know any takeaways that landed for you. Send me a DM on Instagram at Creative Magic Club. And like I said, prices are going up for my private Cosmic Brand Storytelling Intensive. So if you have questions or you want to chat about how we could use that time to help you take your launch to the next level, launch a new offer, start working with a higher caliber of clients, start experiencing more ease and joy and authenticity in the way that you're selling, and you're curious about your astrological placements and how that can help you to have more clarity and confidence in making money in your business, just send me a DM or you can click the link in the description to book. So I'm sending you so much love. Have an amazing week and I'll see you next week. Bye.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.
I'm interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. Are you wondering which parts of your story to focus on in your content to attract ready-to-buy soulmate clients? Do you wish you had clear sales page copy for your high-ticket offer with a stash of social media posts that lead to easy sales that fill your offer on repeat month after month? Do you wish it felt so easy and natural to talk about how you help people when you get interested clients popping up in your inbox? I can help you. In a 90-minute private coaching intensive together, we'll focus on the most important changes you can start making in your messaging to attract more paying clients into your offers. During our time together, we'll make sure your offer is actually targeted at the kinds of clients you really want to be working with. We'll tighten up your messaging or write it from scratch if we need to, and we'll map out a feel-good launch plan to start filling it up with amazing clients. You'll come away with powerful copy targeted at the kinds of clients who are truly ready to buy your offer and do the work, with a clear step-by-step action plan to start connecting with the right kinds of clients tailored to your strengths and audience. No cookie-cutter approaches here. Plus, clarity on your own story and which parts to share to attract the right people, with a list of content topics and a few solid pieces of sales content that you can start sharing to make sales right away. Clients who have done my intensive have gone on to get 20 applications within 48 hours of hitting publish on their new sales page, tripled their workshop signups, designed and launched new exciting offers, raised their offer price above 5 figures, and signed new dreamy clients into their high-ticket offer within days. To chat about how we can use our time together to start welcoming more amazing clients into your world, message me the word intensive either over on Instagram at Creative Magic Club or to my email sarah@withsarahmac.com.